At this time, I'd like to express a big whopping congratulations because you've made it through the first 30 days of this program. In fact, you're starting week 6, which means you're at least 35 days in. This week, the focus is simple: intake and analysis. While this masterclass does not certify you to practice medicine, it does give you the ability to analyze your own data and come to your own conclusions. And yes, I'm kind of dancing around words here because that's the nature of the world that we live in. I can't authorize you to practice medicine legally, but I can give you the tools that you need to make sure that your medical practitioner is doing their job correctly. That's the goal of week 6, and that's the purpose of this entire master course. On the other hand, the purpose of this class is not to analyze you and put you into a box. Rather, it's to give you the tools that are necessary to analyze yourself from the perspective of your Chinese medical practitioner. And that's exactly what I want you to do in week 6 of this class. In week 6, you'll be taking a jog down memory lane and flashing back to week 2 when presumably you met with your life coach to postulate your most likely TCM diagnoses. In week 6, you'll be doing it all again, but this time, instead of me doing it for you, you will be doing it yourself. Generally speaking, there are 3 levels to life. These 3 levels also apply to mastering Chinese nutrition. Level 1 is done for you. Level 2 is done with you. Level 3 is done by you. So far, I've done it for you by designing this class. I've done it with you during your one-on-one consultation. The next step is for you to do it yourself. In order to achieve true wisdom, true mastery, you have to learn how to apply the principles of Chinese medical diagnosis to your own situation. Regardless of whether we're talking about basketball, hiking, taking a holiday, or whatever, the highest level of development involves doing it yourself. In my undergraduate degree at the University of Texas, before I chose to study Oriental medicine, I studied cultural anthropology. Cultural anthropology is the study of human culture at all points and times in human history. To be quite honest, a lot of the students of cultural anthropology are just there because they're in love with the idea of traveling and experiencing different cultures around the world. I'm currently recording this from Manila, Philippines, and since graduation, I've spent more than half my life on the road outside of Texas. It's been a heck of a ride. At the University of Texas, while I was studying cultural anthropology in 2003, we spent a lot of time talking about the difference between a tourist and a traveler. Do you know the difference between a tourist and a traveler? A tourist is someone who just visits for a few days because someone else bought them a ticket. They don't truly engage themselves in planning their voyage. They don't immerse themselves in the cultural experience. And to be quite honest, they don't deeply appreciate the places that they visit, nor the things that they do on their holiday. When a tourist leaves for a holiday, their first consideration is what day and what time will they be coming home. On the other hand, a traveler doesn't go somewhere thinking about when they will come home. They're not focused on when their experience will come to an end. Instead, they see the people and places that they visit as a part of their regular ongoing life. A traveler engages themselves in the culture of the place that they're visiting and learns how to navigate, shop, and or do business there. Whether the voyage lasts 2 weeks or 2 years is of no consequence and no concern to a traveler. A traveler looks at where they are now and thinks about where they're going next, rather than longing for the place that they came from. Are you a tourist or a traveler of Chinese medicine? Going home in this case means forgetting about what you've learned and moving on to the next fad diet or the next big thing. Going home means taking the information you've gained and putting it into a lockbox inside of your closet. Going home means you did not adopt the culture of Chinese nutrition and you did not learn how to navigate Chinese medicine for yourself. Until you have planned a trip, paid for the airplane ticket yourself out of your own pocket, and chosen every stop along the way, you have never really and truly traveled. How does this concept of tourist versus traveler change the idea that people only value what they pay for? I can tell you in absolute terms that after more than 15 years working with patients and practicing Chinese medicine, You can give people a fish all day long, but they will either toss it aside in favor of something more delicious, or they'll come back next week asking for another fish. The most absolute thing I have learned in my journey as a healing practitioner is that people truly value what they have paid for, and they do not value things that are free. If all you ever do is tour Chinese medicine, you'll be missing out on the big picture that has the potential to radically transform your health. Another way of saying it is this: if you're looking for someone to do it for you, then you're really selling yourself short. The epitome of done for you in medicine is that standard routine, that's to say, going to a medical specialist, paying them a few $100s for a 15-minute consultation, and have them either recommend a barrage of tests that cost even more money or prescribe you a prescription medication that probably has a long list of side effects. Listen, folks, reality alert. My health will not be affected if you decide to be a tourist of Chinese nutrition. You are the only one that loses by taking a tourist sort of attitude to this material. But if you do decide to embrace being a traveler of Chinese medicine, your health stands to benefit a great deal. The benefits that you'll receive are more or less infinite in nature. While you may not solve every single health problem during the first 90 days, the knowledge that you have gained will still be there in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, whenever new problems come up. Every time a health concern rears its ugly head, for the rest of your life, you will have a well of knowledge from which to draw fresh, living water. At the end of this life, which we call the human experience, the only thing you can't buy is more life. Many people have tried. Knowledge that improves your health and increases your longevity is, therefore, priceless. In week 6, I'm cordially inviting you to leave the tourist mentality behind and to become a traveler in the realm of Chinese medicine and Chinese nutrition. This week is where we take the training wheels off the bicycle for the very first time. In week 6, the focus of this course shifts from didactic to practical. No longer are you simply reading, digesting, and perhaps attempting to memorize module after module. In week 6, you'll begin to take the steering wheel and drive the car yourself. After all, nobody knows where you're going better than you do, right? So why should someone else be driving? Now, if anything I've just said makes you nervous, don't panic. You don't have to master the process of evaluating a clinical intake on your very first day. The purpose of week 6 is simply to introduce you to the process so that you can revisit the intake process that was done with you in week 2. As you go back through this process, you'll want to double check the conclusions that we came to, and it is an appropriate time for you to second guess your life coach's interpretation of the data. Look for things that your life coach might have missed and bring it to his or her attention in the next group coaching session. If you're able to identify oversights by applying critical thinking to your situation, then it's a sign that this course has succeeded in teaching you the basics of Chinese medicine, which means that you're on the right path to becoming a true master of Chinese nutrition. My goal is for you to be comfortable with the intake process by the time this program is finished. You can think of week 6 as the turning point. Call it the middle of the Chinese Nutrition Masterclass, the middle of this program, if you like. In week 6, everything begins to shift into real-world practical application of what you've learned so far. And just to repeat, while this class does not authorize you to practice medicine, you often don't need a medical license to help your friends and family. Furthermore, if you have a certification in medicine or even just in nutrition, then you can use this information that you've learned to help people using your existing certifications. Because this week focuses on the shift from didactic knowledge to practical application, you may find the course material to be rather light. But this week you have a lot of homework. In summary, this is the week to go. This is the week to do. Put the pieces together. Put it into practice. Ask questions. Apply what you've learned to your own situation. Double check the work that your life coach did in week 2. And again, ask questions. Once you've gone through your first intake process, you'll be ready to go. Rinse and repeat. Looking ahead, I want to invite you to attend one of our group coaching calls and let me know what you've learned. I want to challenge you to keep in touch with me more and more during the last few weeks of this class, because this is the time that everything starts to come together for you. This course is 90 days long, which is just 1 day shy of 13 weeks. I designed this course to deliver all of the didactic material in the first 8 weeks so that you have 5 more weeks to digest what you've learned, ask questions, and put it into practice. So this week, try to attend the group coaching calls and ask questions, or you can always send a private email if that's more comfortable for you. Realistically speaking, I can't provide the same level of support in email format that I can in the group coaching, but I'll be happy to answer straightforward questions, point you in the right direction, and hopefully kickstart your intuition. Finally, I'd like to congratulate you on making it this far. You're really doing great, and there are great things ahead for you in the coming weeks. Next week, I will be giving you access to the treatment of disease articles. These articles break down various Western diagnoses such as diabetes, cancer, and AIDS, and explain to you the treatment approaches used by Oriental medicine. For instance, diabetes involves spleen deficiency and is often accompanied by dampness. The sort of information you'll be unlocking next week is usually only available to students and practitioners of Oriental medicine. You'll be getting access to this next week, which takes your ability to put Chinese nutrition into practice to a much higher level. So again, congratulations. You've done a great job by sticking with it, and you're approaching the finish line. I imagine by now you're saying, wow, this is a lot of information, but it's been a heck of a ride. Am I right? Buckle up and let's go. Oh, and by the way, welcome to week 6 of the Chinese Nutrition Masterclass.